Hello and welcome to Crypto Exposed. Is Crypto Mason right? Is this how much HBAR you will need for the next bull run? Okay, found this short here by Crypto Mason. I couldn't quite find a date on this, so I'm not sure how old or new this is, but thought it was an interesting topic to discuss. And he's basically saying how a lot of people keep asking him, how much HBAR do I need? How much HBAR do I need? And just two things I just want to cover off from the get-go, because this is two things that he did address from the beginning of the video. Is first and foremost, he's not in a position to give financial advice, neither am I. But the other thing is, we don't really know what people's personal financial situations are, right? So even when you're talking about giving certain amounts for a bull run or whatever, not everybody can afford the same amount. So obviously when this is being discussed, it's not necessarily going to be the same amount for everyone. So it's really got to depend on what you can afford to actually buy rather than how much you need. And so I'll get into this now and just go with what he said though. And this is just him saying this is what he thinks is a good amount and the reason why. So he basically said if you can get 100,000 HBAR, he thinks that's a good amount of HBAR to have. At the time of the video when he created this, 100,000 HBAR was $5,800. Not sure how much it is now, I haven't checked. But what do I think about this? Yeah, 100,000 HBAR, that's not bad at all. And one of the things that he said is, if HBAR goes to $1, then that's $100,000 profit that you've made from that investment, which obviously is absolutely amazing. Now, look, again, first and foremost, I don't know what people can afford. $5,800 is a lot of money. So I'm not saying just get that much. That is a lot of money. So that is not something to just be thinking, yeah, you're just going to throw that at the wall and see what happens. I think you've got to be very careful when you are investing. The other thing is, and this is something that he addressed, is you've got to be careful in regards to having the conviction to hold, right? Because you may have this 100,000 HBAR, but if you start seeing the money dramatically drop because, some market news comes out that scares the market and then, the price just drops, are you going to have the conviction to not panic sell? So that's obviously going to affect your investment, because I see this a lot. People think, oh, okay, the market drops and then they say, oh, it's not going to make that kind of price target that people make. And it's like, it's not necessarily that it's not going to make that price target, it just might not make it right now, right? Like, you've got to not get shaken out of the market as well, because if you panic sell, you might regret it, because in like 6 months' time, it may hit that type of price target that you was expecting it to get to. Now, I've done a video not long ago of No BS Crypto, who did a real good breakdown and deep dive into HBAR and as to why he thinks it can go up to potentially $3 in the next bull run. And I'll be honest with you, after reviewing everything that he said, it was all very sound, it was all very logical. So I'm not here to say that it will hit $3. I can't give price predictions because I don't know. But everything that he said was plausible. So I do think it's possible based on the information that he gave. So if you start to think of it from that perspective, the money could be even more. But let's just flip that on the other side, right, and think of it from a different aspect. Even if it doesn't get to $1, let's just say it didn't reach $1. You haven't got to look at it like it's got to get to $1 for you to be happy to sell, right? Like, even if you could get like $70,000, like, wouldn't that still be amazing? $50,000, that's still great from the money that you've put in. That's still a massive multiplier effect from basically just under $6,000. So you haven't always got to look at it like that. And then there's other ways to think about it as well. Maybe you just sell off a portion of the HBAR. Maybe you just say, okay, well, let me just take out like $40,000 profit and I'm just going to keep the rest for long term. Like, maybe I don't get the full amount from this bull run, but maybe if I hold this now and go into the next bull run that comes after this, or when real utility is coming in and institutions are actually buying cryptos because of the utility rather than just speculation and custody services and that kind of thing, maybe then I can get even more money out of this HBAR. Like, this HBAR could make another like $70,000-$80,000 from that next run, and that's with the actual HBAR that I've already just got left over and I've already took some profit off the table. So there's different ways that you can look at this, but yeah, I mean, if you can get to that kind of amount, great. But you know, like as I say, everybody's in different circumstances. It's not easy to just go and buy $100,000 of HBAR. I wouldn't go and do that personally. That's way too much for me. Now, would it be something where I could maybe just dollar cost average and just keep building it up, and hopefully over time I'll have maybe made that kind of point, that type of target? Yeah, cool. But I definitely wouldn't be someone who would just go out now and just, you know, buy $100,000 worth of HBAR. I'm just not going to do that. I'm not in a position to do that. So I completely understand in that sense if you're hearing this and thinking it's kind of high. But this is why when you hear us talk about these kind of things, we always say it really does come down to your personal circumstances, right? Like that kind of price is what he's saying is because he's telling you the kind of profit that you can make. But if you're not in a position to do that, don't do it. And don't put yourself in a position where you're going to like leverage and stuff like that. I really personally don't recommend that. Obviously, it's down to your personal choice. I can't tell anybody what to do. But in my opinion, like leveraging is a very bad idea. I've not seen anyone really be successful when it comes to leveraging. It's just a way to get wiped out of the market. So I personally wouldn't recommend that. But obviously, you guys are going to do whatever you think's best. But yeah, for me, I think it's just the better thing to just dollar cost average because whatever you put in is yours and there's no chance of it just getting liquidated. So I wouldn't recommend that personally. But overall, 100,000 HBAR, that's not a bad shout if you can try and get to that kind of position. As I say, maybe dollar cost average, put a chunk down and then dollar cost average your way up and that kind of thing. But again, even if you don't get to 100,000 HBAR, let's say you get to 20,000 HBAR, it could still put you in a good position to make some money in the bull run. Yeah, like this is still good profit you could make in the bull run long term. So even if you just dollar cost averaging until the bull run really kicks off and, you know, HBAR really has its moment, that's fine. Like it's all profit, man. It's all profit. So it's whatever you can afford to put in. I would never tell anybody this is what you've got to have, and Crypto Mason didn't do that either. But I do just think that's a good target if you can reach that. You know, that would be good. But yeah, it's not for everyone. Not everybody's going to be able to reach those kind of targets. And as I say, I personally wouldn't do that. I would not be in a position to go and buy 100,000 HBAR. So I understand for everybody being in different circumstances. It is down to different people's opinion and also what they're willing to risk to be able to afford to lose, right? Because as I say, don't risk more than you can afford to lose. So for some people, it might be that they can afford to buy 100,000 HBAR, but they're just not willing to potentially lose $5,800. Right, so that's another perspective. So again, it really does come down to preference, but overall, from what he said, the general sentiment of it was sound. So I don't think this is bad. So take of that what you will. But overall, yeah, not a bad shout at all. But what do you guys think? 100,000 HBAR for the next bull run. Do you think this sounds good? Are you someone who would actually be willing to buy 100,000 HBAR? And do you think that you would actually make that $100,000 in the next bull run? Or do you not like the sound of this? Is there anything in this video that you've heard that you disagree with? Or do you just not think that HBAR is going to make $1 to make that kind of profit in the bull run? Let me know your thoughts, guys. I'd be interested to hear. Thank you very much for watching this. If you did like it, please remember to drop a comment, like, and subscribe. But until next time, take care.